and I really like to camping.
Ah, you like to go camping.
Yeah, go to camping.
Yeah, that's nice. And how many days did you visit this park? How many days did you spend at this park?
Depends on what park. For Nam Kha Tien National Park, we spent 1 week.
Oh, you spent 1 week. Wow.
Yeah, and a different park in Huế, like Bạch Mã, we just only spend 3 days.
I see.
Yeah, we have traveled 7 parks in Vietnam.
That's nice. I like to go to the national parks too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. You
But
know,
in Vietnam, we have less national park. We just only 17
oh,
park in Vietnam, but most of them is not interesting for
ah,
people
I
because
see.
it not take care. It not be take care.
We have a lot of nice parks in the USA. In the western part of the USA, it's nice. There are a lot of big mountains,
Yeah.
so it's nice to go camping with the big mountains. But you know, with the virus, a lot of the parks are closed, which I think is kind of crazy because now is the best time to go to the park, you know, so you can stay in the park. You don't have to be near people. You want to go into the woods and be alone. But now
Yeah.
they
Right.
close it. They tell you can't do this. I don't understand this, you know? I think if I go back to the USA, I will go to the park anyway. If it's closed, maybe there's nobody there, so that's no problem, right? Nobody can tell me I can't go in. I just say, okay, now I'll go to the park and go into the woods. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing that. So, who did anybody else have a paper about your favorite? Okay, Collins, I see you have a paper. Your favorite picture? Do you
Yeah.
want Do you want to tell us about your picture?
Wow. Well, there are two kinds of favorite pictures that I used to took because I was really keen on taking pictures. Like, Polaroid's picture, the very small one like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. I really like to take those pictures. So I used to take, but the two pictures that I liked was the picture that I took with my friend when in secondary,
Uh-huh.
like all my class in secondary school, and my family.
Mm.
So yeah, for secondary school, well, it's really hard to gathering all of them right now because they all busy, or maybe some of them are really into their new friends.
I see.
So yeah, taking pictures of them help me remind because we used to have like a big group that have like, I think, all the people in the class together, and we always go hanging out and chatting all the time.
I see.
So after that day when I took that, like most of us didn't really contact together again.
Ah.
So keeping those pictures really helped me to like remember them.
Yeah.
Like maybe we will met someday. So yeah. And there was in the pictures that includes our teachers too.
Yeah.
So few of them getting retirement, so I think all of them getting retired. So um like some of them going out with their children abroad
Uh-huh.
because all their children go and study abroad, so they go with them too because they have families in there too.
I see.
Yeah, so like keeping pictures to get some memories about them too. And for my family, I think it's more like a tradition. Like, you know, every year in the New Year Eve, like in 12 o'clock New Year Eve, we always taking a pictures of it and keeping, and my mom or my dad, I don't remember, but they keep it on like a book
Uh-huh.
or in a folder on their computer,
I see.
and then they open it since I was a child. Like at that moment, there was only me, like from how we grown up,
Yeah.
and then large pictures. You know, like in some Korean families, they always have a big pictures with a brown background, and the parents sit like on the front, and two of the child or maybe more will standing at the back. We have
Uh,
that one too, but it has when about my brother is about 2 or 3 years old.
oh,
Yeah,
I see.
we have those. And every occasion, every special occasion, birthday, even graduation, we always taking pictures. So like our collection is has to be really thick like this.
So this style is this is a Korean style. It's popular in
Well,
Korea.
no, I don't think so. But like, I think not every families have this
Uh,
because they will take a selfie more than having like a pictures that go to
I
the
see.
Photoshop.
Yeah. Uh, and so you have a Polaroid camera now? You're still taking Polaroid pictures?
Yeah, but
Oh, that's
like
nice.
I have it quite long ago. So
Uh,
yeah.
that's very cool. You know, before we went to Nha Trang for Tet Holiday, I found there's an interesting Vietnamese photographer that he has a shop in Nha Trang, and he takes a lot of black and white photos. You know this guy? I think he's famous in Vietnam. He goes around all of Vietnam and he takes photos in black and white of these, you know, daily scenes in Vietnam life. So in the cities and in the out at the sea and in the river, like the Mekong River, and in the mountains. He takes really amazing photos in Vietnam. And there's a studio in Nha Trang. He has a studio with his photos, but he has a nice website on the internet with a lot of his photos. And I can't remember his name though, but maybe you've heard of him. I don't know.
I cannot remember his name too.
Yeah, but it's a black and white photos. You know, I think this is very cool. So you take the photos, and then he has a dark room, right? He has a dark room, and you develop the photos in the dark room, right? So it's a little different from like a Polaroid, because you have to develop these photos yourself.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, it's very cool. It's a nice like art form, I think. You know.
black and white pictures has their own color that I really like the black and white too.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of people now that we have the cell phones, and a lot of people use the cameras on their cell phones, and then you know they'll take a photo and then they change it, right? They like make it a little bit different. Maybe they change the color a little bit on the photo to make it. They Photoshop it. You know this idea? You Photoshop. So you take a photo and maybe the color is not so nice, but then they change the color to make it like very bright and beautiful. It's not even real anymore, you know. It's different because it's not really this way, you know.
Well, I used to do that too when like
Uh,
posting some pictures on Instagram. I think
yeah,
yeah, like because the normal original color is really bad,
yeah,
and like want to make it lighter, we have to put some colors on it.
yeah.
So like yeah,
But like some of these pictures I've seen before, like in Peru, in South America, they have this famous place called Rainbow Mountain, and it's very high in the mountains. and there are different like soils in the mountain, and it looks like a rainbow. It's like all of these different colors, and a lot of times people will Photoshop it. So they make it very like bright colors and everything. And when you go, you say to yourself like, wow, this is not so nice. When you see it yourself, you know, because it's not so bright the color, you know, because people are changing this in their photo. But you know, I don't really like this idea of like modifying or changing your photo, because for me, I'm more of like a purist. You know, where I like to have it just as it is in the real, you know. So I would say like a purist. So when you take a photo, you know, you're trying to capture the real beauty, the real thing as it is right now in this moment of time. You know, so I don't change anything in my photos. I always leave it just as I see it, you know. And I also think it's kind of fun, you know, sometimes like maybe at a birthday party, if you have a family birthday party, maybe, you know, everybody say, okay, let's take a picture. And then everybody comes together or something, and then they smile and you take a picture. But, you know, I think it's interesting to think about in another way, like maybe if I go to the birthday party and then I'm taking pictures of people and they don't know. You know, so I'm like taking photos of a moment in time, you know, capturing this moment of maybe people are talking over in the corner together and they don't even know that I'm taking their picture. You
If
know?
you capture like at the moment when they laughing, then it will be really, really bad. Like,
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's like an interesting art, you know? It's real, right? It's capturing the real moment rather than a fake moment, right? Because when I say,
yeah,
okay, everybody stop, come together, let's all smile, like this is not how the party really is, you know?
yeah.
So
Well, actually, my friends always do that too, but like, because they do it in quiet, so there will be some moments that we're laughing because
ah,
best friends together, so we're laughing like real hard. So like
I
some
see.
moment turns out to be our meme, you know that?
Ah,
And
yeah,
even we posting those picture when we chatting together on message too.
I see.
Yeah.
I've heard about these memes before, but you know, I don't really know what this is. Can you tell me about it?
It's some kind like a funny face that we using to chatting together. It's
Ah, I
like
see.
there is like a part like a GIF in messengers.
Uh,
So if you wanted to chart and there was some kind of emotion that it cannot be represented by the emoji, we can
ah,
use those things.
I see. Okay, it's very popular now, I think, to do these
Yeah.
memes. Ah, I see. Okay, great. So let me see. Are there any other pictures or so I see that only Collins and Ramey have papers, but if anybody else has a picture, we can talk about your picture or if you want to say something about this. Otherwise, maybe I think we can look at Ramey and Collins' paper, and we can maybe make suggestions in what they wrote. We can practice, you know, through reading their paper. If you want to do that, does that sound okay? So maybe we'll start with Ramey's paper. Yeah, we'll go back to Ramey and we'll work on her paper. Okay.
I
So
want to share a picture.
okay, well, yeah, please share with us.
Yes. You can see a picture.
Oh yeah, I have a picture like this too of me.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was in Hawaii, these women came to me and they said, "Here, you want the picture? Try this," and they gave me their fruit basket, and I was walking around with them with the fruit basket. It's kind of like this.
uh,
This is a nice. Tell me more about this picture.
actually, yesterday you know about full moon?
Yeah, the super moon.
Yeah, super moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I gaze at the moon, I remember about I have a trip in imagination
Uh-huh.
to to come back to my hometown and visit my family.
Ah, I
Right? Yeah.
see.
Yeah. So I remember I miss my grandmother. So I think, and I wondered about my picture, and I decided to choose this to explain about my memory in my childhood. Yeah.
I see.
Yes, you can see I am like a boy in the picture.
So that's you in the basket?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Um, you can see that when um, when I was 4 or 5 years old,
Ah,
I woke up early in the morning, and I followed my grandmother to go to the market. Yeah,
I see.
to sell our vegetable to sell vegetable which we plant,
Ah.
especially the round one.
Oh, I don't know this one.
You have already known this.
I do know this one?
Yes.
I don't remember. Maybe I forgot. I don't know.
Yes. Um,
So you are, how old are you in this photo?
mm, no, I was 4 or 5 years old.
I see.
Yeah, when I sit on the basket,
Ah.
sat on the basket. Okay.
And this is your grandmother.
Yes. No, I just use this photo like a metaphor, like
Oh,
you can
I see.
imagine. Yes.
But do you have a real photo of you doing this?
No, because at that point, we are poor to know about
Oh,
photo
about a
or
photo. I
yeah,
see. I see.
a camera or something. Yes,
I see.
yeah. So I use it to you imagine my
Yeah,
childhood.
yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah.
Yes,
But you have the memory.
yes.
Ah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
nice.
And it's in Vietnam we in a countryside we usually used it as a try or something to uh, pick some food, some goods to go to the market
Ah,
to buy and sell something and
I,
go back. Yeah,
I see.
yes, and yes. When I followed my grandmother to go to the market, I sat on the basket and the other baskets. And my grandmother mm, put some vegetable and some red brick, to balance
Ah, yeah, yeah, I know.
to balance, and and after arriving the market, she sold vegetable and bought some food,
Ah,
some necessary stuff, and and she never forgot to buy some candies or cakes or some gifts for me.
for you. Ah,
Yeah,
that's nice.
yes, and you know, everybody when they met me, us, they always came to and talk something to us and smiled at me because I think they could be happy when they saw my smile and hers.
Ah, I see.
Because when I was young, I was small. I thought it's like a magical thing because I can set you can set on a basket and without touch the ground you can
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But you don't have a brother or a sister?
Now I have a brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
'cause maybe he would be a good balance for the other basket. Yeah, no bricks. You can put your brother in the other basket, and then you can go together.
no, but it at that time, yeah, my
Ah.
brother even wasn't born. I wasn't born.
Oh, I
Uh,
see. I see.
so it's my own memory, just only
Ah,
mine.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and yes, whenever I miss my grandmother, yeah, I remember about this memory because I can feel she loved me a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's nice.
just want to leave me on put me in basket to avoid me to feel worry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds fun.
yeah. In my legs. Yes, that's all.
Yeah. Maybe even now it would be fun too, but you're too big for the basket now.
Yes, and
Yeah.
my grandmother can't do it because she's too old.
Yeah, yeah, I think you would be too heavy too, maybe.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, the moon last night I thought was we could not see it very well here, you know. I went outside and I looked, but yesterday was kind of rainy, so we couldn't really see the super moon too good. But
No, really?
yeah, not so much. But you saw it? You went outside to look?
Yes, I look. I sat on my balcony.
I see.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it a little bit more yesterday. And so I figured out how far this moon was because yesterday was a super moon. So
Yeah.
this is about as close as the moon will get to Earth, right? That's why it's a super moon because it is closer to us. And so it is a little bit bigger and a little bit brighter, but not so much, but a little bit. And so I figured I was curious and I thought, well, how far is the moon? It is the closest to us now, but how far away is it if we wanted to go to the moon? And so it is, if you were to take an airplane from Hanoi to fly to New York City, to get to the moon, you would have to make that trip 27 times. So fly from Hanoi to New York City, fly Hanoi to New York City, Hanoi, New York City, 27 times. And then you will be arriving at the moon. It's far away, right? Can you imagine? This is a long, long ways away.
Yeah.
It's nearly more, I think.
No, this is how far I calculated it. It is like 350,000 kilometers, which is yeah, it's that trip 27 times would be 327 or 350,000. Yeah. So yeah, that's about what it is. Yeah. So anyway, are there any other papers or pictures anybody wants to talk about? Otherwise, maybe we'll do one of the papers now. Yeah? So we'll look at a paper if there are no pictures. Okay. So maybe everybody has Ramey's paper? Yeah?
Không want to say, Chris.
You want to share it?
No, Tom. Yeah.
I have a picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a picture.
Share with us.
I didn't prepare it in my computer, so yeah, maybe you can see my phone.
I see.
No.
You can see.
It looks like a sneaker.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
sneaker?
This is sneaker. This is sneaker, and this is the first my sneaker. Yeah, this is the first my sneaker.
Ah.
Yeah.
So this is a very small sneaker when you were just a little boy.
Yeah, So yeah, you know, no. This is the first when I first year at university.
Ah,
Yeah, they still open my passion about sneaker. And I really love sneaker.
I
Yeah.
see.
So in that time, when I have my first sneaker, I realized how much I love sneaker.
I
Until
see.
now, yeah, until now it's still like that. My
Ah,
feeling, yeah, it's my feeling is still like that. So I want to share. Uh, uh, my passion in the future is have a small store about sneaker in Ho
ah,
Chi Minh City. Yeah, in Ho Chi Minh City.
I
Yeah,
see.
and all of thing. Yeah, is yeah it is start in this picture.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, in that time I don't a friend
Uh-huh.
give me an old friend give me this sneaker and I I asked in that time I asked myself that why I have to wear expensive sneaker like that.
Yeah,
So when I wear that, yeah, I more and more love sneaker.
I
So that's
see.
it. Yeah, I need to prepare.
Well, no, it's okay. I, I think, yeah, you know, we have sneakers very popular, but I think it's crazy. Sometimes people they will spend a lot of money on sneakers. You know, like many times Nike sneakers
Yeah,
will
especially
be
is
so
young, yeah,
expensive.
young people. Yeah, they spend a
Yeah,
lot of money. Oh no, you know, sneaker in Vietnam, sneaker is have a culture. Yeah, it have yeah, it's Korea. Yeah, it have a culture, societal about sneaker.
I see.
Yeah, a community. The community of sneaker really big in Vietnam now. In
Yeah,
recently, yeah.
I see. We have these like famous sports players, you know, like maybe a famous basketball star, and then they will have their own sneaker. So like Nike or a famous company will make a sneaker for this sports star, and so they charge so much money for it. Maybe like you know $100, $150 for one pair of sneakers.
In America, it have a biggest culture about
Yeah.
sneaker. Yeah, in the world. I really passion. I really want to go. Want to come America. Yeah,
To see
and
the
yeah,
sneakers. Yeah.
yeah.
I
No,
see.
to see about the culture in there. The, the culture
Yeah,
of sneaker in there.
yeah. Oh, it's good. Okay. So anybody else have any pictures or anything they want to share? Otherwise, we will do a paper. Any pictures? Anything? How about, so Catherine, do you have anything you want to say about this or you want to do a paper? Benny, do you have any thoughts on a picture or we will move to a paper?
Yes, I really love taking photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I take a lot of picture, and I prefer taking landscape than taking body.
Of like a portrait of a person.
Yeah,
I
portrait.
I
Yes,
see.
I prefer taking a landscape.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and taking a lot. And when I see again the pictures, uh, a lot of memories come back. Yeah, and
Yeah.
mhm.
And you take you have a camera or do you take Polaroid pictures? What kind of pictures do you take?
Both.
Oh, both.
Yeah.
So you use a cell phone.
Yeah. Sometimes I use cell phone. Sometimes by a camera.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. I have a professional camera.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But you know, it's so heavy.
Ah,
And I will show you. So in some trip, I cannot, I couldn't take it together with me, so I use cell phone.
I see.
Mhm.
And you don't take a selfie with your professional camera.
Of course, I can
see.
too.
I see. I see.
Yeah, and this is a photo that I love.
Oh my God, this is you
Yeah.
with your big camera. It's almost bigger than you.
Yeah.
It's a big camera.
Big camera.
Oh my
And,
God.
this is a picture of my friends.
I see.
When we came back the university after 15 years, we left.
Oh, this is like a reunion.
Yeah, union.
Ah, yeah, I'll type that. A reunion. That's nice.
Yeah, this is the union of law university.
Yeah, college reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Sometimes we have this for school too, you know, like for secondary school after some years, maybe like after 10 years, after 20 years, we will have a reunion and everybody will get together to see what you're doing now, you know?
Yeah.
Wow, our university. Yeah.
Ah.
Yes. And Trish, did you stay at reunion?
No.
Yeah.
Um,
I stayed in a reunion 3 years.
Oh, I see.
And you know, we have a lot of memory in there.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we was so happy when come back.
I see. Okay,
Wow.
and you can take a nice photo of the super moon with your camera?
I have never taken
You've never tried it?
photo. Yeah,
Oh.
I never tried. Yeah.
I was wondering maybe you can see people on the moon with that camera.
Maybe I will take a chú cuội. Do you know?
I don't know this one. Oh,
Yeah, Vietnamese have a story about the some people who live in moon.
oh I see.
Yeah, that is
What is this?
yeah. His name is Koi.
Koi. Ah, I see.
Yes.
Hey, isn't that Ramey's son's name? Koi?
No.
Koi
It's so
is
different.
name of her son. It's different. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
different. Oh, okay. Okay. Sometimes hard for me to remember these names,
Yeah.
you know.
Koi, he live in moon with a rabbit.
Oh, and maybe with Tony too. Because nobody knows where Tony is. Maybe Tony's on the moon. Okay, thanks for sharing.
Yes.
But Catherine, have you tried to take a photo of the moon by through telescope?
Oh, have you tried to look at the moon through a telescope?
Look at
Yeah.
We just only look at the moon, not take a photograph by
No, we can't. We can. It's so beautiful, and you can take it. You need to telescope. I have a take of the moon photo by it.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
You know, It's interesting we talk about the photos, you know, because I think it's interesting, like, to think about the culture of taking photos now, and how the cell phone changed people's sort of ability changing taking photos. Like now many people take selfies and things like this, and this is like a new cultural thing, right? Because people did not used to do this when they had their own camera, you know, like they had a camera like Catherine's. They didn't take a selfie, right? You could not really do this. You would ask somebody to take your picture for you. But you know, this is kind of a pain, so you don't keep saying, hey, take my picture, take my picture, take my picture, you know? So you don't do this so much. But now, yeah, so many selfie photos with the camera now, you know? And sometimes I read the crazy stories, like in the national park, I think maybe a couple of years ago, people, they take a selfie, they go up very high on the mountain, and then they want to show everybody that they're like, look at me, you know, and they take a selfie, and then they fall. This happened to some people. They fall because they go so close to the edge of the mountain. And then they go to take a photo and they slip and they fall down. And yeah, some people die doing this. So remember, be careful when you take your selfie. It can be dangerous. Okay.
I don't like to take the selfie photo.
Yeah. Yeah, me either, really. But I know it's really very popular. Many people like a selfie, so it's okay, I guess. Everybody likes different things, maybe.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes we cannot find someone to take for you, so you have to use a selfie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so hi, Benny. How are you today?
Great.
Hi. Do you have a photo, or maybe you want to tell us how you've been? We haven't seen you last time.
Yeah, sorry, but my connect now is not good for me, so I will try to connect the other Wi-Fi, and because I not hear clearly for many when many people say that.
I see.
Yes, so I will.
Okay. Well, I can also, I'm recording too. So if you want to listen to the recording after, you will be able to listen to the recording of our video too. I don't know why our the Wi-Fi here always is kind of slow when it is raining. I don't know why this is, you know. I feel like it is this way in the US too. When it rains, the Wi-Fi is slow. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, I think this is the case many times.
Oh.
But this morning is okay for me at Hama. So, okay, unless anybody has something they want to say, maybe we'll do a paper now. Okay, we'll do a paper. We'll do maybe we'll start with Ramey's paper and see how much time we have. So everybody has Ramey's paper, and you all can see it. Ramey, maybe you can share it. Can you share your paper? You're on the screen.
Yeah.
For the others. And I will go into the folder and find it. Okay. So let's see. Pablo Picasso. Okay. So let's see. Ramey said, Pablo Picasso said, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child. I like that. Raphael was a famous Renaissance painter in like the year 1500. Okay, so that's good. I really like his speech. So you would say, I really like this expression, right? I really like this expression, okay? It talk about the importance of emotion and purity in the artist. So this is artist's composing process. So let me see. It talks, you have to say talks, about the importance of emotion and purity in the artist's creative. I would say another way we can say this is in their creative process. So maybe I'll write it like this on the side. Let me see, where can I do changes? It won't let me. In the creative process. A painting, what is great, should to bring more feeling to watchers. So this one would be, we will call this a viewer.
Yeah.
To the viewers, right? So a painting, so we would say it like this, what is great? A painting, what is great? So this would be a strange way to say this. So we would say this better if we say a great painting, right? See, it's fewer words. It's only a few words. A great painting is a better way than a painting what is great. So we say a great painting should bring more feeling to the viewers. Okay?
Yeah.
So the great artist needs soul like a child, right? Like a child. But here we could say, generally we don't want to start our sentences with so, or and, or because, or but. So we can just delete this, right? We can delete this.
Yeah.
Because you're saying your sentence is, so the great artist needs soul like a child. But why don't we just say, the great artist needs soul like a child, right? We don't need to say so, right? We don't need to say that. Just say, the great artist needs soul like a child, more pure. So more pure, and we don't need to say more pure and pure, more sensitive. We can just say more one time, right? So we can say more pure and sensitive, right? We don't need to say more pure, more sensitive, more lovely, more feeling, right? We don't have to say more every time. We can just say more pure and sensitive, right?
Okay.
So we could say, if you wanted to say more things, like you said, more pure, more sensitive, more elegant, more beautiful, you would just say more pure, sensitive, beautiful, and elegant, right? So we don't have to always say more. So more pure and sensitive, always loving. So always loving and believing, always loving and believing in life. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is and this is here, we want to say, this is a natural trait. Okay? This is a natural trait of children, and not every adult can keep it in their lifetime. Or maybe we could say it's a natural trait of children, and many adults lose it as they become older. Yeah, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? So it's a
Yes.
natural trait of children, and many adults lose this feeling as they get older. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is
Okay.
a lesson I learned during the self-studying about painting and drawing of my son. Okay, so you learned this lesson from your son's painting and drawing. You learned from your son.
Yeah. No, it's not like I learned from my son. It's like I can find it during this process when I observe my son
When you watch.
study.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how about this is a lesson I learned is an inefficient way of saying this. So let me show you. So inefficient is the word here. So inefficient means when we are using more words to say what we want to say. We don't need to use so many words. So we are being inefficient. And this is an example. So this is a lesson I learned, okay? That's inefficient. But the efficient way is like this. I learned this lesson. Do you see the difference? This is a lesson I learned. So here you are using more words, right? You're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words you're using. I'm just using 4 words. I learned this lesson. So I am using fewer words to say the same thing. So generally speaking, it's better when we can say the same thing more efficiently. So you know about this idea? Like when we talk about efficient, we talk about this word a lot in English. We might say something like, a new motorbike is more efficient than an old motorbike because it uses less gasoline when I travel from my home to work, right? So a new motorbike is more efficient. It uses less. In this way, our sentence is more efficient because it is using fewer words, right?
Yeah.
So this is an idea that I use a lot, this idea of efficient and inefficient. So I learned this lesson when I observe my son. Okay, so I learned this lesson observing my son's painting and drawing habits. How about that?
But there are major important thing is self-studying.
So you are, okay, so maybe then instead of saying observing, I think of observing and self-studying as kind of being similar words, but if you want to change it, we can say observing. We can say self-studying too if you want. So self-studying my son's painting and drawing habits. See, another idea is like, what if you said it like this? Self-studying my son's painting habits and drawing habits. You see, from what we talked about earlier, we don't need to keep saying habits, right? We can get rid of this one. We can say his painting and drawing habits. You see? So I learned this lesson self-studying my son's painting and drawing habits. Okay?
Yeah.
My son could draw and paint early when he was 2 years old. So this is okay, but how about if we said it, my son learned to draw and paint when he was just 2 years old. How about that? We don't have to say early when he was 2 years old, because early, I know it is early because I know that 2 years old is young, right? So I don't need to say early when he was 2 years old. It's like saying the same thing two times. You only need to tell me he was 2 years old. I know it's early, right?
Okay.
It's like saying to you today, you know, like today the sun is hot and the sun is so hot and warm. Like I don't need to say it's hot and warm. I can just say, you know, the sun is warm or the sun is hot. I don't need to tell you both. So I don't need to say it is early and 2 years old. Just one way is okay. Okay? Because we want to be efficient with our sentences. We just want to tell people what we mean and not say more than we need to say. I could remember the first thing he draw. So the first thing he drew, right? I draw is a present tense, right? The present tense is, you would say he draws is the present tense. The past tense, he did this in the past. He did this before when he was young. So we need the past tense. So we would write he drew, right? So we have to get the tense right here. I could remember. So this is another inefficient way of saying this. A more efficient way is to say, instead of I could remember, we could just say I remembered. Right? It's more efficient, less words, easy for the writer.
Yeah.
Or easy for the reader, and gives your paper more flow. When you have less words, your paper tends to have better flow to it, right? Okay, so.
Okay.
I remembered the first thing he drew was an apple. Okay, now, see here we're starting a sentence with and. But you generally don't want to begin a sentence with and, because and is taking two ideas and putting them together. It is connecting them, right? So either you want to separate your two ideas and make two sentences, or you want to take your two ideas and bring them together and only make one sentence. But what you're doing here when you say and, is you're taking two sentences, but it's like incomplete. You're making two sentences, but you're using and, which is telling me you want to join them together. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we either need to delete and start a new sentence here, or we need to connect the sentences together. So we would say, I could remember the first thing he drew was an apple, and so all one sentence, and he spent all day not to draw. We can say drawing wherever he could. So drawing. We want to generally try to use ing verbs, right? Because you said he spent all day to draw. But if we can say, instead of to draw, we can say drawing. Drawing gives our paper more action. It gives it movement. It makes our paper come to life. It is moving now, right? It is, somebody is doing something. Right now, they are doing it. They are drawing, right? So when you use ing phrase of the verb, it generally will make your paper have a better flow to it, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, in cases where we can use ing verbs like talking, drawing, running, sleeping, we want to try to use the verb this way because it gives us more flow. So we'll find more ways, more examples probably as we continue. Okay, so he spent all day drawing wherever he could. So we don't need to say could do, we can just say wherever he could. Or
Okay.
we could say, and he spent all day drawing, yeah, okay, all day drawing. I probably would delete this because he spent all day drawing. This means like he's doing it all the time. Like he wants to do this many places, everywhere, all the time. So I don't think that wherever he could tells us more good information. You know?
Yeah.
So right, think about this. When you are writing your sentence, every word needs to have something to do. Like every word in your sentence needs a job. You know, everybody has to be doing something. It's like when you go to the kitchen and you're cooking lunch, for maybe you're cooking for many people and you have a team of people preparing lunch. Maybe like 4 people are preparing lunch. You want each person cooking to be doing something, right? You don't want to have only 2 people in the lunch cooking lunch and 2 people just standing, watching. They are not doing anything, right? In the same way, your sentence, maybe you have 4 words, but if you only need to have 2 words, you only need 2 people cooking, you don't need 4. So you can get rid of 2 people. You can get rid of 2 words. You don't need to have them there standing there, you know? So when you're thinking about your sentences, only use as many words as you need. And every word should be doing something. So whenever you say, so you're saying like he spent all day drawing. This tells me, oh, wow, he's drawing like everywhere, every time he can draw, he wants to draw. So I don't really need to say wherever he could. I know that if he's drawing all day, then he must be drawing everywhere he could, anytime he can. He is drawing. I know this, right? So you can say it, I suppose, but I would be more like thinking maybe we delete wherever he could. We don't really need to say that, but we'll leave it, okay? It's no problem.
Yeah.
On the walls, on the table, face, in my notebooks, on the floors, he really liked to do it. Okay, so what we have here is 2 sentences, right? And like this sentence here, he really liked to do it, is a weak sentence, right? It is not a very strong sentence. So how can we make this sentence strong? We can make it strong by, what if we combine this sentence together with this one? So we combine these 2 sentences and make it one sentence, and we can make a stronger sentence. So what if we said it like this? What if we said, he liked drawing on everything, including the walls, the table face, in my notebooks, and on the floor. He liked drawing on everything. He liked drawing on everything, including the walls, table face. I could say just table face, including the walls, table face, in my notebooks, and on the floor. Okay? So you see how I took 2 sentences, I put them together, and I think this sentence now has more information. It is like a stronger sentence. It is more is like a more packed sentence. It has more information, it is a stronger sentence for the reader, right? And when you make one sentence, the reader is not stopping, right? When you make two sentences, your paper does not have good flow, right? Because the reader is stopping, right? So on the walls, comma, on the table face, comma, in my notebooks, comma, on the floors, comma, or no, on the floors, and now I stop. He really liked to do it. So it's very choppy. It's very stopping. It stops and goes, stops and goes, stops and goes. On the walls, on the table face, in my notebooks, on the floors. He really liked to do it. Do you see? There's no flow here. It does not, it's not smooth. Right? We need to have more flow. So when we take two sentences and we put them together, this makes our sentence have more flow. It doesn't stop so much. It's easier for the reader. He liked drawing on everything, including walls, table face. So I would say table faces in my notebooks and on the floor. It has more flow to it, I think. It's not stopping as much.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just say on table faces. Okay, table faces. All right. I have taken him to many art class. So this is plural, right? This is more than one. So many art class. Art class means just one, right? Art class. But you're saying many art class means more than one. So many art classes. We need to make it plural, right?
Yeah.
For more than one. One class. Many art classes. So I have taken him. Now how about if we said, instead of I have taken him, this is kind of inefficient. I have taken him. What if instead we said, I brought him? I brought him to many art classes. See, instead of saying I have taken him, it's a lot of words, right? It's a lot of I have taken him. I brought him. It's easy. I can say this in one breath. I brought him. But if I say I have taken him, it's like a lot, you know. So we can be more efficient in just saying I brought him. I brought him to many art classes, and then we have to say comma because we're using but here. So I brought him to many art classes, but he didn't like to be led drawing by anyone. So he didn't like to be taught by anyone?
Yeah.
Or he didn't like to be instructed?
No, taught.
Taught, okay. But
Yeah.
he didn't like being, right? So this is another case again where instead of saying to be taught, he didn't like to be taught. This is a kind of a flat way to say this, right? We can say it where it has more movement and more flow. We can say he didn't like being taught by others. By others. So do you see the difference in the two ways of writing that?
Yeah.
He didn't like to be taught by others is not as smooth and does not flow as well as he didn't like being taught by others. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
So I think we will have breakfast now. I will keep working on your paper after breakfast, and I will do Colin's paper next. And I think this is good practice. It's hard for you to do this without me, but you know, try to read these Colin's paper and read Ramey's paper and try to understand the changes that I've made,
Yeah.
you know, because we just have to practice. You get better doing this. You'll see these things like how I combine sentences, how I'm using ing. You will see these things, but it will take time. You know, we have to practice, but then you will start to see them yourself in your writing, and you will then be able to make your own changes to your paper. But it will take practice. Okay? So I will send your video to you, or I will post it maybe in our folder, the link to the video in our folder. And if anybody else wants to write a paper about a photo, you can still do that and just maybe send it to me. This is a better way for me. If you want to send me something, you should email it to me, because I don't like Facebook so much. I don't use it often. Oh, this is not right. I spelled it wrong. So if you email me, then I will get your paper and I will respond to you sooner. Because maybe I check the Facebook like one time a day to make sure nobody is trying to write to me. But if you email me, I will see it right away on my own device. You know, I don't like this computer. It's Windows. I don't like Facebook. I don't like any of it. I like, you know. So if you need to send me your paper or something, it's easy on the email. Okay, I will talk to you. I guess we will meet when? Sunday. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your week.